Well, the issue with working carers is it could mean anything to anyone. So you could be just taking a few hours out, or you could be having short working days, or you could be only working a couple of days a week. So it can vary dramatically between one set of carers and another set. But the general issue is that you're not working full time and you're spending a lot of time concentrating on who you're caring for, be that someone young, be that a disabled person, be that some elderly parents. So the challenges are financial in quite a lot of circumstances, and understanding what that means for you, your future, how you're going to deal with it can be a real issue. And even getting to grips with what those issues are can be a real challenge to an individual. So having those conversations with someone is really important for them to challenge you on what you need to do and what you might need to change and how you might need to save. Well, financial stability for a lot of people means having enough. And we often think we've never got enough. But you might just as well have sufficient funds to do what you want to do and still be able to work around your caring responsibilities. So having those conversations, understanding what you need, how you need to address anything that is concerning you is really, really important. So I would say that when we're talking about financial stability, then what you need to do is try and work out what budgeting you need to do. Do I need to have certain things put in place? Do I need to make sure that I've got ability to access the person I'm caring for's funds? So that's when we start talking about things like lasting power of attorney, for example, and understanding whether we need to get those in place now or whether or not we can't get those in place now, so we need to take other steps to be able to access those things. Absolutely. I think some of the misconceptions around carers is that you're out there on your own. There is a lot of help that you can get, so through financial advice, through the government, through benefits, and making sure that you understand those benefits, what you're entitled to, what they mean, and if anything is means tested, what that means if you are working. Because we've seen lots of things that is very scary where people end up working a little bit too much and they end up owing money back to the government. So having a good understanding of what you've got, what you are entitled to, and what happens if you happen to do a little bit more can really put your mind at rest. So those pitfalls and challenges can be addressed, and they need to be addressed up front. And again, we've talked about lasting power of attorney, so getting those in place so that you can have them in place before they're needed is something that can really give you peace of mind. Also, just understanding what the costs are and what the escalating costs might be in the future. You might have things like long-term care that you need to consider. At the moment, you might be able to care for this person on your own, but actually in the future, you may need more help. Will that help cost money? Will you get help from the government? How are you going to address that? Will you have to stop work? Having thoughts about all of those can really just help mitigate those pitfalls that might just suddenly come upon you, and you really need to be able to address them sooner. Well, let's take the short-term needs first. And for that, it's really important to understand budgeting. Budgeting, what do you need in the short term? How much does it cost to run the house day to day? Do I need any help with transport? Do I need mobility support? Do we need to actually change any of the benefits that we're claiming for? All of those things can really be helped with financial advice, because you can take into account all the things you've got, all the things that are available, to be able to understand and make changes if needed. Having financial advice to understand all of the things that you've got, how they work, the interaction with any benefits, so that you can be more comfortable in what you're doing day to day and you can concentrate on your caring responsibilities, can really give you that peace of mind. So then looking into the long term. Long term is such a hard thing to understand on your own. Understanding what is my needs going to be when I get older. Once you've stopped caring, say for example you're actually caring for an elderly parent, and that elderly parent, as we know, won't be around forever, you need to be able to fund your own retirement. So just ignoring your own long-term needs is something you shouldn't be doing. You need to try and factor that into your budgeting, factor that into your savings. So what can I do? And again, factoring that into, am I going to receive an inheritance? Do I need to think about estate planning? I need to work with the person that I am caring for to make sure we've got sufficient to make sure that their life is good, my life is good, and that we can work towards the future. So financial advisors can be really, really important there because they can actually challenge you on those conceptions. So can I afford to contribute more? Should I be contributing more? What should I be locking away? Actually, what do I need in the short term? So should it be an ISA, for example, because I need access? And making full advantage of all your tax reliefs to ensure that what we're getting is the most tax efficient, as well as that it meets your needs and it meets your risks, because actually, depending on how you feel about things, and can really change how you invest. So you need to have those conversations because it is so hard to make those decisions on your own. For carers, then there's again lots of things that can be done, and it's really back to that understanding what you've got, what you need, when that might change, what the future looks like, and putting things in place as soon as you can to remove that stress when you start thinking about the future. So again, back to the lasting power of attorney, making sure that they're in place so when you do need to enact them, you have that capability to either take over financial control or make the right decisions for health and well-being of the individual that you're caring for, as well as making sure you've got sufficient savings and that you can deal with any bumps in the road, for example, that we really need to deal with on a short-term basis. We've got those short-term funds and access to those short-term funds in order to be able to do that. So it's that confidence, it's that ability to be there for somebody when they have these challenges. As a carer, you're focused on the individual. You're not necessarily focused on your own finances. So having a financial advisor can take that stress away just by them being there, calling them up, I need to do this, we need to get a new mobility car, we need to do this, we need whatever it is that they need to be able to make their lives a lot easier. So changes to the house, for example, they can all be really costly. And having someone to talk to you, how do I best access this money? How should I be able to dip into my savings? Have I got enough savings? That's what the reassurance comes from, having that person there who understands your needs and understands how to best access that money when you need to access it. We must remember that it's not all about numbers. The value of advice for carers can really give them the stability to focus on their caring responsibilities. To understand what benefits they've got available, what help is out there, will give them the confidence to navigate their responsibilities and the peace of mind to plan for unexpected eventualities.